my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed. Whenever you look my video, whenever you watch my video, share the video to all platforms. Share it to family and friends. Share it in your WhatsApp group so that people can get information on what is happening in the contraption called Nigeria, mainly against the Biafrans, against the Duduas, against the indigenous people in the contraption called Nigeria. I try as much as possible to set the record straight. I don't preach hate speech. I don't speak against people. I set the record straight. The only important thing I do here is to make sure that the plight of the people remains on the front burner and the world will know the true story of what is going on in the contraption called Nigeria.
Chief Ezugo, can you hear me?
Quite not that good. But
you can hear me. If you can hear me, let's get started. We'll begin with the issue of Section 8412 of the new Electoral Act that President Muhammadu Buhari said they should delete from that Electoral Act. But the Senate rejected Buhari's appeal. What do you think? Is that section something that will better our elections in Nigeria?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the CMPP have issued a statement, praising the Senate. For the first time, the Senate were able to go along with the masses. Because what they've been doing, I don't know, this was like a miracle. But they know quite all right that this will affect them if they did not do it. Because if they have asked those who are political appointees to remain in the office before the election without resigning, automatically they will have a whole lot of money to do the election with. Whereas the Senate, most of them are what they have there, they will use. So they will be equal, and those who are in the service will be better than them in terms of the expenses. So the Senate, that is what they did. We actually praise them. We actually at least say they have done something meaningful, but you should know that it is to their own advantage too. So it is in Nigeria is where people don't think of the country or think of what is the benefit of the masses of the nation, but rather the individual selfishness. So this time around, for them to have been able to, you can see how the voting went, or how when they were asked near have it, this have it, you can see what happened. That the Senate president was like, oh, you did not hear me. Do I repeat? Should I repeat again? He repeated it again. And the actual people that means well for Nigeria carried it for the first time. So I think they should know that we have three arms of government: the judiciary, the executive, and the legislators. But they should know that they are on, when they are fighting for maybe the autonomy of local government and rest on the House of Assembly, they should know too. They should know, be able to do the one they have given to them. They should be able to carry it along with them by doing the right thing, not by living by what the president might say or what the president wants. So it's not like what is happening in the APC today, where the president will wake up and say that he has sacked an acting chairman. It doesn't happen that way. So the National Assembly should know that they were voted to protect, to do job for the Nigerians, not for themselves. But for the main fact that they have been like rubber stamps to the executives, and they were able to throw out for the first time, to be able to refuse for the first time what the president have asked them to do, is enough our praising them and our thanking them too.
Okay.
Because that's the beginning of a free and fair election with the electoral act they've just passed.
Okay. But Chief Ezugo,
at least we are thinking that we are now going to have a correct about 60–70% of free and fair election in this country, just like what happened in Anambra State. If not, you would have seen that people will use more people. But because of electricity transmission, you can see that less kind of ballot boxes, less rigging and all those things, less using guns and by force have reduced. So I think this particular Senate, I said, if they have done this thing, I think we can forgive them for most of the things they have done against the masses of the Nigeria.
Okay, but Chief, there are those who still believe that if you leave that section, it contradicts the human right section that is in the Nigerian Constitution. That's section 42, which talked about the right that person has, the right to elections, the right to do things. You're taking it away from the person. And also section 40, which talks about the right to assemble. So if you're doing that, does that not contradict the Constitution 1999 as amended, as well as also where it says that they will have to resign 30 days before election? What I'm saying is, if you are allowing section 84 subsection 12 to fly, what about the sections in the Constitution that have said they have to resign 30 days before election? Is that not contradictory?
Come again, please.
Chief, there is a particular section in the 1999 Constitution as amended. And that section says if you are an appointee, a political appointee, you have to resign your position 30 days before election day. So if that is the case, and this one is asking them to resign or not to take part in party primaries, will it not be two-faced?
No, the most important thing there I see there is for them to resign before, for some days or for some months before the election, if they are going to contest for election. So I think both the Constitution and the Electoral Act they are trying to amend by now, they are almost like saying the same thing as far as I'm concerned. Because in other words, the most important is that every appointee should resign if you have interest to run an election, and you must have some time frame for you to resign if you are interested in running an election. For example, if I'm appointed by Mr. President as SA or SPA or whatever, and I still remain there as a minister or as whatever, DG or whatever, and you are there doing your job, which we know most of them are there stealing, and you steal till almost the day of the election, then you come out with the money, what you have, automatically there are no level playing ground between those who are trying to run an election from their purse. Therefore, that question of resigning should be something that will take very, very, very serious, and it is a very good omen for us.
Chief Esigo, let me explain the difference between the Constitution, the section in the Nigerian Constitution, which talked about resigning 30 days before election. But this section 84 subsection 12 is saying that they cannot take part in party primaries. They cannot be elected and they cannot vote. So that means if they want to take part in their party primaries, they have to resign. And if the party refuses if the party goes ahead to allow them take part in the primaries, that party will not be enlisted for the election proper. So that's the difference between these two. But some persons have argued that these two sections, the Constitution is more powerful, is more supreme than the Electoral Act. So some persons can go to court to challenge that section 84 subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022. So that's the difference. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Well, I'm getting you a bit, but I'm just try to catch up your question and be able to answer. But most of the questions are not being, it's not coming up well for me to hear, but they're not meaningful. Like, for example, if they ask you to resign, both in your party or not to partake in party primaries,
yes.
I think they're equally the same thing. You cannot enjoy both sides, because if you have interest, okay, you can see what the Minister of Justice is doing. You can see the kind of things he does, because to us in this country, we believe that he's the president of this country from most of the things he has been doing. Whether he pulls the law upside down, we don't know. So automatically, for such people, this kind of laws are being made for them not to take part or resign if you are actually going to contest any election, and you shouldn't take part in the primaries. And at the same time, according to, as you said, as we have it in constitution for any elective or any political appointee to resign 30 days before the election. I equally agree with the Senate or with the National Assembly for them to equally not to participate in party primaries if you are going to contest election or in party convention. So if you prefer that, if you feel you are popular, then you resign. But if you feel you are not popular, remain in your post so that you keep on making the money you are making. Not when you are making money and almost at the tail of the election, then you will now resign for 30 days and come and muzzle us with our little purse. So I agree with what the National Assembly, with that section 84 we are talking about.
All right, Chief, let's move over to another issue that is in the polity. That's the issue of zoning. People have been clamoring that power should shift to the south since President Muhammadu Buhari is from the north. So do you think at this time we need to rotate, or we need someone who can move the country and change things, no matter the region that you come from? What's your disposition to that?
Well, as with the kind of the country, what Nigeria is today, because of the system we are running, the normal thing, like this question of power shifting to the south, it is not only power shifting to the south that is the most important thing. I agree that whosoever that wants to bring us should be a credible person that can move Nigeria forward. Very unlike the past leadership we have been having, and talk less of from 2015 to date. Every Nigeria have had it. We have seen it. And if actually Nigeria wants to be a bit in one again, I think it's not only power shifting to the south, to the south, but at least be specific power shifting to the southeast. It is the turn of the southeast. And I agree too. You must have heard the former president Olusegun Obasanjo said that he's supporting the power to shift to the east, not only going to the south, but to the east. They have never tested it. If you want to believe, if you want to make us to know, or to rather for us to know that we are part of Nigeria, I don't see why we should be denied of every right of a Nigerian, because it becomes a serious matter now that now the power is going to the south. We agree, but when you come to the south, most of the southern states should understand too that the power has to go to the southeast. It is how, when you go to fight, when you go for war, all of you be one. But when you are able to succeed, when you come back home, you'll be able to say, look, this is how it's supposed to be. You'll be able to have a fair sharing. So the whole south should be able to have a fair sharing and moral enough to say that it's for the southeast. I don't mind if we come to the south, you have a whole lot of credible people who can move this country forward. If you want me to start mentioning example, I will do it, because there's no need of hiding it. It is only from the southeast, as far as I'm concerned. If you want this country to come back to global economy or whatever you are talking about, the person, those who have to do it, have to come from the southeast, and not because every other zone have tested the leadership in this country, and they have never moved the country forward, rather than it become worse as what we are having today. So let us try southeast people and see what they can do. We have a lot of credible people. If you want, I can mention them. But then the thing in there is that there's no zone you won't have credible people, but they will not have the chance to come to the leadership of the country.
Okay, now, Chief, if you're talking about power moving to the southeast, you also need to look at the political parties and the popular saying that politics is a game. When they go for primaries and they are made to face each other, if, for example, all the political party takes a decision to say, all the political party take decisions to say, yes, we are moving power to the south. But don't you think that when they go for the primaries in their various political parties, may change?
Let's come again.
If they take a decision, the 18 political party take decisions to say, yes, power will move to the south. Now you are clamoring for power to move to the southeast. Don't you think that when they open up their party primaries, when they open up voting and election in their party primaries, that somebody from another region may just take it? And when that happens, will you be angry?
I'm sorry, I'm still not quite listening with the question.
Is it
it's still dripping.
All right, Chief, we'll just take this break. We'll come back. Let's quickly work on our audio. I think you're having challenge hearing us or trying to hear us clearly. That's the challenge we've been battling with since we started this program tonight. So let's just take this short break and we'll be back. Thank you so much for remaining with us. Remember, you can send your message to my handle at EJ Osamo. My Twitter handle is open. But we still have Willie Ezugo with us in via Zoom, joining us again via Zoom. We had challenges with the audio. He couldn't hear us clearly. Thank you very much, Chief Willie Ezugo. Are you still there? All right. Now let me let me put the two questions straight, and I will allow you to answer them. One, if you say power has to move to the south, and if it has to move to the south, it must be the southeast. What about at the level of the political parties? If it happens that they go for primaries, and the person who and they open it up for the southerners to buy tickets, and they go for convention for primaries, at the end of that somebody else from another region wins it, because politics is a game. Will you say because it didn't come to the southeast you are not comfortable with it? And number two, if you are also talking about power shift, you still need to take a look at the political parties. They may say that they want to maintain a line. Remember that we have about 18 political parties, and Buhari, who is from the north now, is an APC member, and he contested the election on the platform of the APC. So if the APC is taking a decision to say we are moving power to the south, do you expect parties like the PDP, parties like APGA, parties like SDP, YPP, and other parties to also toe the same line, when probably they have a more credible member in their party that is not from the south? Is that what you want? You want it to be an all-rounder?
Well, as with regards to the zoning, you remember that when it was 1999 when Obasanjo contested, they made sure that they zoned it to the southwest, and that was how Olufalaye and Obasanjo contested that particular election. So if actually Nigeria has to be sincere to themselves, the political parties, they should all zone it to the southeast. So it's only meant for the southeast people to be able to contest for it and go for the primaries. So, but they cannot tell me that if it is square of by try to, you send somebody to go and fetch firewood and you make sure rain will beat the person, you know. So automatically, if they actually want to zone it to the southeast, I mean to the south and the southeast, they should be able to make it in such a way that all the political parties will be able to, you know, give their presidential candidates to the southeast. So they let the southeast people who are there go for the primaries. That's what I'm trying to say. But whereby you throw it open, you will still see that a lot of trickishness is involved in the whole issue. So that's why I say we have a whole lot of credible people in the southeast. Just if we can do it like they did it in 1999 when Obasanjo came up, then it is, I mean, that is the only way to go forward for it.
Okay. Now, Chief, recall that when Obasanjo came up, then it was PDP against all other parties. But now you have an incumbent political party, the APC is still on, and the PDP. If you take a look at the zoning formula, because according to some political analysts, what they say is Nigeria is divided between the south and the north. And if that has to be, if power is moving to the south, it is open to all the regions in the south to contest it.
That is why I said the Southerners should come together, and they will be able to come together and tell themselves nothing but the truth. The South have had it, the Southwest have had it. It is only remain the South. So if they want to tell themselves the truth, and you can get the president of Afenifere what he said. He said it is for Southeast. You can hear from Obasanjo. He said it's for the past to shift to the Southeast. So any person who doesn't believe in it, who is not sincere to himself and not being truthful to himself. Period.
All right, but Chief, are you aware that people from the North Central are also agitating, and people from the Northeast are also agitating, that they've never had power since the return of democracy to Nigeria? So if you want it to be even, you still have to put into consideration these two groups.
Okay, for example, now the PDP chairmanship is from North Central. Am I right? The PDP chairman is from North Central, and from what the president appointed, you know, it's like appointed somebody as APC chairman from North Central too. So automatically they have done the best they can. But the truth in there is that we know the truth, and people knows the truth, but they don't want to follow the truth, and that is why what is happening in this country is ongoing happening. So, but if in the place where we can be able to know that working for Nigeria is one Nigeria, they should be able to know that every person must partake. If it is in terms of leadership, they should be able to know. If, like for example, there are certain things you do to Southeast people, they look as if they are no longer Nigerian, and they don't believe in Nigeria if they do what they want to do. So we cannot be living in Nigeria and when in terms of political appointment, in terms of both his federal character, it doesn't get to us. So, but now we are trying to say it is really a Southeasterner that can be the president of this country. If, like, even if today, if you go to a ministry where a Southeasterner is a minister, you dare not speak Igbo to him. You use English. If you are telling him, you know, using Igbo language to talk to him, he will start speaking English to you. But if it is from the north, if it is an Hausa man is a minister, if you go there, you use Hausa and talk to him, and he'll tell you what to do. But that is why I say the Southeasterners are the people who are the main hub of this country. Should give them that opportunity to be able to correct the indices of this country and how the country have fallen apart, because they know that they have no any other place to go.
All right, Chief, but when it comes to politics, there are so many things you need to put into consideration. You're aware of that. And if by saying that you need it to go to Southeast, that means you need to lobby every other region to agree to go to, for it to go to Southeast, because if you take a look at their constitution, they differ, and their programs and their manifestos differ. So that means the members and the leaders in the Southeast need to start lobbying other regions, whether from the north or from the Southwest, to allow them take the power in any political party. Isn't that what it's supposed to be?
IJ, if you are hearing me, most of your questions I don't get it. I'm just using my, you know, my sense to put up one or two answers to your question.
Chief, but the last question I asked,
the live program on physical.
The last question I asked
doesn't get somebody to answer what he doesn't know.
Chief, the last question I asked, you got it. So that means you can hear me, even though you can't hear me clearly, but you can hear my question. What I'm saying is, if it is politics, you don't just sit down and allow them give you porridge. But what you need to do is to work it out, to go to other regions and try and speak to their conscience, to allow the Southeast, all the political parties.
Excuse me,
yes.
How many people work hard in Nigeria that govern Nigeria? How many people have worked hard in Nigeria and be able to get to the leadership of this country? How many people work hard for it? If the Southeasterners are not the most people that work very hard in this country. You watch out, if you talk of one Nigeria, it's only the Southeast people. Go to any remote area in the north, you see a Southeasterner. But come to Enugu as a capital, count how many other regions that are in Enugu. So if you talk of one Nigeria, it is first Southeast that is the one Nigeria we're talking about, as far as I'm concerned. Therefore, what we are asking for is for us to partake in the leadership of this country. Not only partaking, but because we have the quality people that can govern this country and put us in the right track again. So it's not matter of politics or not politics. We have to be sincere to ourselves. But whereby we believe we can't be sincere to ourselves, okay, let us keep on the dialing until Nigeria become a banana republic.
No, we don't pray for that.
You can see what is rumbling in the National Assembly. You can see what the president is doing The president will stand up and say, appoint somebody, attack somebody. In a political party. Where does it happen?
All right, Chief.
So if we want that kind of leadership, we continue. But if we actually want to look at some intellectuals who are moving up, but because they can't give them opportunity, because they have not studied so much, that is why. And those who can work because of the level of their experience in governorship, they cannot allow them to come. Like Obasanjo just said, so many of them, 99% of those clamoring to become the president of this country, are supposed to be in jail today.
All right, Chief.
So many of them are supposed to be in jail.
Chief Esugo, that
those kind of people that come and flash us with money that they ain't gotten where they got, and they will we start to follow them.
Well, I would like to.
As far as people like us, as an activist and social critics remain, we still say nothing but the truth and hard truth to believe. But we must still say the hard truth, whether they like it or not.
All right, thank you so much. Chief Willie Esugo is the Secretary General of a coalition of Nigerian political parties. Chief, I thank you so much for your time, and thank you for joining us on the program. We appreciate it. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you, and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.